Hello, welcome. Today we are going to be letting AI pick the books that I read for the next couple of weeks. I want to read 3 books for this video, but this video is supposed to come out in 2 weeks, and I'm not sure I can read that fast. I have my ChatGPT pulled up on my computer. I sent ChatGPT a picture of my bookshelf. I did mention that this bottom shelf down here is my spring TBR, so they might pick off of that more than the rest of the bookshelf. I know, I'm sorry, I cheated. But I'm just going to ask every time I finish a book for ChatGPT to assign me a new book to read, and we'll go like that. So this is just for the very first book. Why am I nervous? It's just a book. I think I'm nervous because the last book I read, it took me over 2 months to read it because I just hated it so much. So I'm really nervous it's gonna give me one that I hate, and I'm gonna have to like really try to get through it for this video. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. I typed up my little response. It says, I am ready. Can you please recommend me the first book I will be reading? Great. Your first book is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I chose this one from your bottom shelf since you mentioned wanting to get some of those books this spring. It's an emotional and thought-provoking read, perfect for kicking off your AI pick TBR. Let me know when you're ready for the next pick. Okay, so he already said it's down here, so I don't have to go looking for it. What did he say it was? One True Loves. I didn't realize from the title of this book what book it was. It's my cute little purple one that I picked out just for the cover, and I'm genuinely excited to read this one, so we can breathe. I'm so excited. I feel like I haven't read a nice little romance in so long. Yay, now come along with me as I read this book for the next few days. I'm going to thank ChatGPT real fast. I feel like it'd be so much easier if I named my ChatGPT instead of saying ChatGPT each time because that feels like a mouthful. We named him Chad. I don't know if I like that name. I just wanted to match chat with something, so that was the first thing that popped in my mind. So I'll thank Chad real fast. Some fun little thoughts though before I end this portion of my video. I got a microphone, so I hope my audio is better now. I'm really excited about that. This week is going to be a long week, and I honestly don't know how much time I'm going to have for reading. I think if I because I normally don't go to bed until after 12 o'clock. So if I have my reading time from like 10 o'clock when my husband goes to sleep till like 12, that's at least 2 hours a day that I get to read. And then I am also planning on waking up earlier this week so that I have more time in my day because I need to finish the audiobook that I have checked out because that expires at the end of this week. I need to read this book probably by Thursday or Friday to keep on track with my goal of reading 3 books in this video. And I also have 8 hours worth of footage to edit into something that's probably an hour long. So I have to do that this week because that is supposed to be uploaded next Tuesday. So we have quite the week set out for us, and it's going to be super overwhelming. I do not have time for my depression to get in the way this week. Oh my gosh, and my parents are moving this week, so they'll be coming by at least once. Yeah, wow. Thinking about everything I have to do, I am so overwhelmed. Cool, cool, love it. Believe it or not, it is the same day. I did some editing after I filmed the last part, and then I worked out, and then I was going to wash all my makeup off and get into some comfy clothes. But then I remembered that my mom was coming to visit me today, so I got redressed but in a different outfit because I was really cold and that pink shirt was not cutting it. So I had my big sweater on. Anyway, that's the story for the outfit change halfway through today. So I'm going to start reading finally. It is just after 3 o'clock. I'm going to start reading. I want to read 100 pages. That's my goal for today. There's 300 pages in the book, so I figure if I read 100 pages a day, I'm done in 3 days, right? Easy peasy. There are very long chapters. Very long chapters. Chapter 8 is on page 113. very long chapters, which kind of scares me. Some of my favorite books have long chapters. It's okay. I'm not going to be thrown off by that. I really just started this portion of the video to tell you why my outfit had changed, but it's the same day. I went on my Goodreads to put in that I started One True Loves, and I realized that ChatGPT told me to read One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is not One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is One True Loves by Elise Bryant. Chad messed it up. I do not have One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, so this is the book that I was meant to read, just wrong author. So we will be reading One True Loves by Elise Bryant, not Taylor Jenkins Reid. Very different books. You guys are going to be so proud of me, okay? It is the same day that I shot the very first part of this video, and I am 100 pages in. It's only like 6, maybe? I'm completely guessing. I have no clue what time it is. It's between 6 and 7, and I'm 100 pages in. I'm going to keep reading today, but I wanted to give you my thoughts on the first third of this book. We're following Lenore as she goes on her senior trip with her family on a cruise in the Mediterranean. Super cool. I also went on a cruise for my senior trip. We went to Mexico. It was grand. Lenore does not believe in love anymore. She had 2 boys use her as a stepping stone, a placeholder until they found someone else, or in the last case, she was the other woman. And those are, I think, the only 2 people that she's ever loved or dated or whatever. So she doesn't believe in love anymore. Her best friend is a hopeless romantic, and she has all of these romance books, and she's like, you're going on a Mediterranean cruise and you're gonna meet someone and you're gonna fall in love and you're gonna have this summer romance, and I'm so jealous. And Lenora's like, no. She meets the MMC. He basically offers her to be in a fake dating trope, and she's like, nope, I'm not gonna be another pawn. And now she hates him. Okay, but they are in the same table group. If you've ever been on a cruise in a small group, they normally combine a couple of families into one table. So her family and Alex's family are on the same table, and she hates him. I don't think he's that bad of a guy so far. Anyway, so I guess we'll figure out how that works and how they eventually get together. This book was maybe the worst book that could have got picked for me this week. I'm not saying it's a bad book, but I am saying that it is a story of someone going on vacation. And yesterday I rejected an offer to go on a vacation that I was actually really excited about, because my agoraphobia, my anxiety got to be too much for me, and I didn't think I could handle going. And I'm kind of upset about it. I'm upset that my brain is holding me back from doing things that I want to do. So this is kind of making me think about that. And so that's not feeling very good. But I'm trying really hard to not focus on that and focus on Lenore and her story. It means it would be really helpful if the romance part of this book can start happening. That would be great. Because then it would distract me from the fact that she's on vacation and she's on a European cruise and all these things that are not going well up in here. I have noticed some things that I don't like in this book. It's such a mid book right now. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's just in that middle ground. It was published in 2022, and I feel like in 2 more years, it'll be a cringy book, because there's so much slang that was used and popular in 2020, and you could just tell when the book was written. And we're evolving so fast with our slang and things that are popular that I think if I held off on this book before reading all the other ones on my shelf, I would be cringing at this book. But it's still relevant enough in my mind that it's not a big deal. But I can just see that being a problem in a few years. That's one thing. Another thing, there's been lots of grammatical errors that I've noticed in this book that I've picked up on. I've only read 100 pages, but there's been at least 3 that I can remember that I was like, that sentence is missing a word, or that's not how that word is spelled. Little things like that do bother me in books. I don't think this book is going to be a 5-star, but it's not bad. However, that's exactly what I said about Every Last Word, and I rated that 5 stars. So, a book can flip around so fast. If the romance is good in this book, it could easily be a 4-star, 5-star. Just right now, with how slow of a burn this book is, I don't know. We will see. We'll see if I eat my words. I think I'll probably get halfway through this book by the end of the day. Anyway, reading update number 1 complete. It is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Last night was crazy. More like this morning was crazy. Last night wasn't so crazy. I got to bed around 1, which means I was reading. I was also doing other things, but I was reading. I got halfway through the book last night, and then I put it away. Got to sleep around 1 o'clock, and then I woke up this morning at 4:30. I just woke up a couple minutes ago, so give me grace. Anyway, I was up from 4:30 to probably 7, and then I fell asleep for just an hour. I was back awake at 8:30, and then I was at 8:30 was it. I was just gonna be up, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna actually get up. So I got some leftover pizza from last night, and I had some breakfast, and I started reading, but I was still in bed, and then I fell asleep while I was reading. And that was it for me. I was done. I woke up with my book still in my hand, so I put the bookmark in the page that I was on halfway through a chapter. I didn't even care. And I set the book aside and I just passed out. And now it's 2 o'clock. Last night I got to page 155. And we are now on 168. I still have some editing to do today. I have a bucket list item I need to complete today. Go check out my March bucket list video if you haven't already. That's a fun one. I need to work out, I need to shower, and Romeo will be home in like an hour. So we're gonna spend some time with him today too, obviously. But within all those things, we will be reading. I'm sure gonna read tonight because I get lots of reading done, uninterrupted reading at night, so that's my favorite time to read. Yeah, that's the plan. I want to give my thoughts on this book so far before whatever bad thing is going to happen happens, because right now it's perfect. We're happy. The romance has blossomed. Everything's grand. So we still have about 100 pages left. Something is going to happen that screws everything up, and it has to be resolved because that's just how stories work. But so far, this is a lot more than just the summer romance that I was expecting. It does have that plot of romance. It is a romance book, but I think it's even more about Lenore trying to figure out her life than anything else. Lenore is the middle child. She's an older brother who just graduated college. He's going to law school. He's like golden child. And then she has a younger sister who is child prodigy, so smart, is just wise beyond her years. And that's said multiple times in the book. And then we have Lenore, who is interested in art as a hobby. She does photography, she paints, she just creates, but she jumps around to different styles of art all the time. And that's viewed in her family as like a negative thing, that she doesn't have the commitment to do something meaningful. This is an African American family, and the parents want a lot for their children. They want this generation to be more than they were. The problem with that is they're doing great. I mean, the dad is a big time lawyer and the mom does something important. I can't remember at this moment, but they want more for their children. And Lenore's like, you kind of reached the top. Like, what am I supposed to do? And she just feels like the black sheep. She feels like she doesn't fit in with her overachiever siblings. And I can totally relate to that. I have a lot of mental health challenges that make it difficult for me to get a job or go to school. So I'm 21 and I am here making YouTube videos in my house and not doing anything else. Whereas my older sister is graduating college and my other older sister is speaking on a panel at a museum. Like these are amazing people that I have to live up to because I'm the youngest. And in that sense, I'm sort of the black sheep. I'm the one who's not progressing like the others or doing the things that make me stand out among everyone else. I mean, I definitely stand out, but not in a good way. The chapter I just read was so relatable. They're sitting at the dining table on the cruise ship with their newfound friends, and the family is telling stories about Lenore and her art, but it's not in a good way. It's in, she's the butt of a joke kind of way. Lenore even talked about her family in the first couple chapters about how, the way her family interacts is by knocking each other down a few pegs and humbling each other. And, she said it in a way that it's like, not that big of a deal, but this is how we show each other that we care, which is so backwards. But that's honestly kind of how my family interacts with each other, especially me as the youngest. When my whole family gets together, I'm the butt of the joke most of the time, and I'm like Lenore, where I'm just sitting there and I'm smiling and I'm taking it because no one else around realizes that the way the family is making jokes about her and perceiving her is actually hurtful. Alex, the MMC, he stands up for her and he's like, with all due respect, like, let me just read it because I really liked how this was done. All of my respect, sir, Alex says next to me, but I don't think that's a fair way to characterize Lenore. I've only known her for a week, but already I can see how talented she is in so many different areas. I think it's a sign of her ingenuity, not her lack of commitment. I was swooning. I was like, oh my gosh. Yes, I love an MMC who stands up for the girl when she can't do it, or when it's in a situation like this where it's her family and she's just used to being the butt of the joke, but he stands up and he's like, no, you're not going to treat her like this anymore. That's my favorite. Anyway, Lenore was not pleased. That's sort of their relationship. Is he is the stereotypical perfect love interest, and she's like, cut it out. I don't need you to stand up for me. I'm strong and independent. And anyway, their relationship is interesting. But I was over here swooning. I'm like, yes, yes. Because that's exactly what my husband does. He's more subtle about it in the ways that he stands up for me, but it's just crazy how much Alex understands Lenore for knowing her for a week, whereas her family is so lost to who she really is. With all that being said, I very much enjoy this book. I still don't think it's going to be a 5-star, but I did do a little research on my Goodreads, and this is a second book in an interconnected standalone. And the best friend that I was talking about, the hopeless romantic who reads all these romance books, the first book of this interconnected standalone is hers, and I really want to read that one. I think that one will be so good. So, with all the criticism I have, I obviously like the author enough to go back and get another one of her books. That is my update. Like I said, I have a little less than 100 pages left. I think I only have 7 chapters left. Crazy. I'm definitely flying through this book, and it's not like I'm forcing myself to read it either. Like, I'm obviously reading more than I would in a normal week because I'm trying to get this video uploaded sooner, but I enjoy reading the book and it's been really fun. Good morning. I started this book on Monday. It is now Wednesday. I finished this last night. That's crazy. I rarely read a book in 2 days. I think it's no surprise. I rated this book 4 stars. I think if it had been switched, like when I read it with Every Last Word, I would have rated it a 5 star. Just because I I don't know if Every Last Word deserves a 5 star, but I rated it a 5 star because I had just read terrible books, and then it was finally like a breath of relief when I read one that I actually enjoyed. So I think I enjoy this one just as much as Every Last Word, but I'm rating it a 4 star because there's just a lot of little things. Like the time I'm reading it is kind of a hard time for me to read this book. It brought up a lot of negative feelings that I didn't want to feel, but that's personal. It's not because the book is negative or bad or anything like that. Um, it was really sweet, and it had me captivated for the last little bit of the book. Like, I feel like most books have the big thing that happens, and then the resolution, and then there's like 20 pages of nothing. Like, it's not nothing, it's setting up the end of the book, but this didn't have that. It had the problem, it had the resolution, and then it was over. So I really enjoyed that aspect of the end of the book, and obviously you saw my thoughts throughout reading the book. It's a great book. I want to read from this author again. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say on that. With that being said, it is time for AI to pick our next book. I typed up my message. It says I just finished reading One True Loves. I rated it 4 stars. It was super fast paced and easy to read. Could you now suggest the second book? Come on, Chad. Give me a good one. Oh, it's really thinking about it. Probably just waking up. It's early in the morning. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. For your second book, I'm picking Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Since One True Loves was fast paced and easy to read, I thought switching it up with a fantasy from your bottom shelf would be fun. This should bring a different vibe while still keeping you engaged. Let me know what you think and enjoy your next read. Chad suggested Powerless by Lauren Roberts. It is big. This is a big book. I was hoping, since I said it was fast paced, easy to read, and I gave it a high rating, that he would give me another fast paced book. He wanted to switch it up, which is fine. It's okay. I'm nervous though. Almost 500 pages in this book. And I was hoping to finish this second book by Friday, along with the audiobook that I still have to turn in by Friday. But that's not gonna happen. I'm telling y'all right now, that is not gonna happen. It's gonna take me probably at least till Monday to read this book, and that's if it is fast paced and easy to read. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I was feeling so confident a minute ago that this video is gonna get up on time. Now I'm not so sure. I've heard mixed reviews about this series too, so that makes me nervous. Let's read the back together. Hated. Thief, ordinary, survivor. I've never been looked at like it's a privilege to be in my presence, an honor to hold my gaze, a gift to get a glimpse of me. Not until I met him. I, Prince, elite, enforcer. If I am to be her enemy, it's an enemy to lovers? I want it to be because she loathes herself for wanting me. She is the very thing he has spent his whole life hunting. He is the very thing she has spent her life pretending to be, and fate ensures they would find each other. Craziness. Okay, cute. I love it when I take the dust jacket off and there's something cute on like the actual book. I thrifted this one too, as I swear. Because literally the front is like, can't even see, but the cover is bent. There's some grossness on it. It is what it is when you get a hand-me-down book. There's a gash right here. Oh my goodness, this book has gone through stuff. This part of the video needs to be over. Goodbye. Okay, I'm just kidding. For every girl who has ever felt powerless, I love that. We love it when books have maps. Oh, it's so cute. However, that also means that I'm probably going to get lost in the first 100 pages. That's all. Goodbye. Alrighty, friends. It is the next day. I have not read this book today because I've been focusing on my audiobook that I had to turn in today. So, I've been listening to that all day, so I haven't gotten to read any more of this. Yesterday, I ended up reading 120 pages. I got to chapter 15. One thing I do like is that I feel like in a lot of fantasy books that I have read, there's, in my opinion, too much fantasy and not enough interaction between the two main characters. I do not have this complaint with this book. Every single chapter, there's some sort of interaction between the two of them since they met, obviously. So I very much enjoyed that. The complaints that I've always heard about this book is that it is too much like Hunger Games, which I get that because there is a trial and she was chosen from the slums. She was living on the streets and she was chosen to go into these trials and fight for her life. So, in that sense, it is like the Hunger Games. I've never read the Hunger Games, so I don't know how similar it is, but I feel like this is different enough that my brain's not constantly thinking about the Hunger Games. Maybe that's just because I haven't read the Hunger Games. I don't know. See, I'm biased because I didn't like the movies, so I never wanted to read the books because the movies weren't good, which I know that's not very good of me to do, but I'm a flawed human being. What can you expect? I'm not reading it as fast as the last book that I read. I just haven't been motivated to pick this up. I think because fantasy scares me and it's such a big book that I'm like forcing myself to read it. Once I get reading, I'm flying. But the actual act of picking up the book has been hard for me, so I've been doing a lot of editing. I've been listening to my audiobook a lot, and I've just kind of been straying away from this book. For the last few months, I've always been tandem reading an audiobook and a physical book. I did not download another audiobook. I'm putting all of my reading energy into this. But actually, since starting this book, more TikToks about this book have been showing up on my For You page, which is kind of funny, but it also has spoiled a couple things. So I do know a couple of things that happen. I don't know which books they happen in because this is only the first of a trilogy. I don't know. Doesn't the third book come out next month? And I also figured out through TikTok that this book is being made into a TV series. So that's cool that I'm getting to the book before the series even comes out. That always makes me feel good about myself. I'm like, yes, I did that. And then I'm not swayed like the Hunger Games, you know? Hello, friends. It has been a couple days, I think, since I last talked to you guys. I am not in a good reading mood right now. It's just taking a lot out of me to actually sit down and read. And I don't think that's the book's fault because I am thoroughly enjoying the story and the book and the writing and everything's great and grand and fun. It's just been hard for me to actually read. My thoughts on the book. I'm at page 302. Um so I wanted to have finished the book by today. I don't know if that's going to happen, but maybe it will because lately Romeo's been playing some video games pretty frequently and I've been reading while he does that. So if that's all he wants to do today, then sure, I could probably finish the book today. I'm kind of bored by all the like fighting scenes, fighting chapters. Like I kind of skim over those. I'm like, I don't really care. Let me know if someone dies, which something happens in the book that had me literally crying. Literally crying. I didn't know I was that connected to that character because it's kind of like a side character, but something happens to them and I was crying and Romeo's sitting next to me. He's like, what is happening? And I'm like, it's this character. And the chapter happens and it's like, oh, you got my emotions all riled up for nothing. Cool. Cool. Love it. Love that for us. I don't know if this is a pro or a con, but the book reveals little bits of detail at a time. Like, I didn't know how the trials worked until we were in them. Which, to be fair, no one did, but there was like no explanation. And so, those are my thoughts. I'm gonna keep reading, maybe finish this book today, hopefully tomorrow at the latest. Talk to you later. Hello, friends. I am editing this current video that you are watching right now, and the clip where I reviewed Powerless and chose my third book for this video, My microphone was cutting out the entire time. So, I'm going to give you my review and sort of summarize what ChatGPT said to pick my next book. Let's pull that up real quick because it should be saved. Okay, I will also warn you that a few clips in the future, my mic cuts out completely, and I have to give you an overview of what I said in that clip in a completely different clip. So I might not even put in the original clip. So if things don't make complete sense in this video, I'm so sorry. This is the worst video I've ever posted, by far. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. If you can see, oh, it's up here. I have officially bought Powerful and Reckless. This is the novella from Kit's perspective of this book, I'm pretty sure. And then Reckless is the second in the trilogy. The third comes out in a few days, I'm pretty sure. So I'll get that one after I finish these. But for Powerless, I rated Powerless 5 stars. I have been way too lenient with my ratings recently, so I made a rule that this is the last book I'm going to be lenient with. I couldn't decide. I was staring at my carpet for 15 minutes trying to decide if this was a 4 or a 5 star, and I went with 5 because I could not fathom putting this book lower than Every Last Word, which I rated 5 stars. And you see, guys, I would just go in and switch my rating for Every Last Word because I've said twice in this video already that I don't think I should have rated Every Last Word a 5 star. I was just so relieved to have a book that I actually enjoyed. But you see, when I rate a book a 5 star, it gets this silver stamp of approval that has my name on it. And when I don't rate a book 5 star, anything less than 5 star just gets a stamp without the silver circle. So I could go in on Goodreads and switch this book to a 4 star, which is probably what it should be rated. But on my shelf, it will always be a 5 star because it has that silver stamp on it. I really screwed up, guys. I really did. So from here on out, I'm going to be stricter with my ratings. If I'm debating between a 4 and a 5, it's getting a 4. And I am no longer rating things right after I read them because that always skews my opinion. I rated this book at 1 o'clock in the morning when I finished it, and that's probably part of the reason I rated it 5 star instead of the 4 that I think it deserves. So, I have new rules. This is going to be my last easy 5 star. I did thoroughly enjoy this book. If I could rate this a 4.5, that's probably rating I would give it. I don't do half stars though, because that stresses me out. That is too many possibilities. I was shook by the end of this book. This book wasn't anything crazy or revolutionary. I think I've already said that. I've been editing all day. I don't know what I've already said or what's new. Please be nice to me. But it was so good. It had all of the tropes that I like, the micro tropes that I love. So I was eating that up, and I cried 2 different times while reading this book. So obviously, if it's enough to make me cry, it's a good book, and I got invested finally. It took me a while to get invested, but I think that's because of the reading mood I was in. I don't think that's because of the book. But once I was invested, and I was crying. And I'm so mad at the ending of this book that I immediately bought the second. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling. I read you a couple of my favorite quotes. I remember doing that. So let's do that again. This is one of my favorites. We fit together perfectly, pieces of a puzzle snapping into place. I shouldn't let myself relax into his touch. Shouldn't let the tension ease from my body when he holds me. But I can do nothing to stop it. Utterly and completely powerless. Okay, these 2 quotes paired together, chef's kiss, okay? We're completely wrong for each other in all the right ways. She's a flame and I'm going to get burned. An ocean and I'm going to drown. And then, like 50 pages later, he says this. I spin her, if only to give myself some time to think. I'd never thought about what my favorite color was before. It never seemed important. Not until I looked into a pair of ocean blue eyes and realized that perhaps drowning was a beautiful thing. Not until I looked into a pair of fiery blue eyes and realized that perhaps burning was a painless thing. not until I looked into a pair of sky blue eyes and realized that perhaps falling was a peaceful thing. I never thought about what my favorite color was before, because I hadn't seen one that was worthy of the title. Until now, that is. Blue, I say in a low voice. I'm dying. Just rereading this, I'm like itching to read the next book. And I'll save your life again and again, aimlessly hoping you'll allow me to stay in it. I buy most of my books from the app Thrift Books or my local book thrift store. This one was from Thrift Books, and I looked on Thrift Books first for Powerful and Reckless, and then I looked on Amazon, and they were actually cheaper on Amazon. So I bought these two completely new, which is exciting because that like rarely happens. But this one I bought off of Thrift Books, and I'm kind of upset. I'm kind of upset that I didn't buy this one new because it's broken bad. Like it is falling apart. I've been talking for way too long and I haven't actually given a great review of this book. So I'm going to trust myself in the previous clips to tell you how I feel about this book. So after finishing Powerless, I messaged Chad and I said, I just finished Powerless. That was a roller coaster. I'm still processing what I just read, but I'd like you to please pick my last book for this video so that I can get started on it when I'm ready. This is where things go downhill. Chad says, that's awesome. Sounds like Powerless really took you on a ride. For your final book, I'm picking The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Since Powerless was an intense fantasy, I thought this would keep the momentum going with more political intrigue, betrayals, and fae drama. It's still gripping, but easy to fly through. Hope you enjoy it. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. One thing you need to know about me is that I make rules for myself. I wouldn't even say I make them. My brain makes rules, and then I am stuck following them, even if they make no sense. One of my rules is that I have to complete a series before starting another one, before starting another book, period. But I was going to make an exception because it would have taken a couple days for the next book to get here. So I'm like, we will read a book in between. It's fine. And then Chad gives me The Cruel Prince, which is the beginning of another series. And I got such bad anxiety thinking about starting another series before I had finished the Powerless trilogy that I'm like, nope, I'm so sorry that I'm cheating, but I cannot do that. So I texted Chad back and I said, I can't start another series right now. Could you please suggest a book on my bookshelves that is a standalone? And he said, got it. For your final book, I'm picking How It Feels to Float by Helena Fox. It's a standalone contemporary novel with mental health themes, which might be a nice change of pace after the fantasy roller coaster of Powerless. It's emotional and beautifully written. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think when you're done. This is the book that Chad suggested for me, How It Feels to Float. I don't know much about this book. All I know about this book is that it's a deeper book. This is when I was in my era of reading books that will wreck me. So I asked Chad for the trigger warnings, and here's just a quick list of trigger warnings: depression, anxiety, grief and loss of a parent, which, if you don't know, at the beginning of this year, I lost my grandmother. So I'm still going through grief of my own. Suicidal thoughts, self-harm, PTSD, dissociation, and sexual abuse. Let me just say, I was terrified to start this book. Terrified. My mental health has not been very good over the last week, and I was terrified. I will now send you back to a couple days after picking this book and let you finish the video. It is just my luck that the clip that I made to fill in for when my mic turned off, I only gave you information for after my mic had cut off. So you have no clue what's going on because I had to delete that entire clip. So I am back, editing me. Hello. It was Sunday night when I finished Powerless and texted Chad for a new book, and he suggested How It Feels to Float after I vetoed the first one that he suggested. So we're already not doing well. And as I said, I was terrified to start this book. I wasn't in a good headspace, and honestly, throughout this week, it's gotten even worse. I think it was Tuesday night, I finally said, okay, I haven't read for almost 2 days because I'm terrified of this book. I need to just jump in, get it started. And I even looked up some TikToks about the book to get myself sort of excited to read it. And everyone was saying that it's such a sweet read that takes on mental health and, it's uplifting and it's really thoughtful the way it's written so it doesn't like trigger those with the diseases that it's talking about. And there were just multitude of good things to say about the book. But in my mind, I knew that to get to that amazing ending where everyone's happy and it's uplifting, you've got to go through some really dark things that I was not ready for, and I knew that before even starting to read. But I was going to push through. Tuesday night, I decided to open the book, start reading. I got like 22 pages in or something like that, and I had a bad anxiety attack, like the worst anxiety attack I've had all year. It was not good. So I went out on a walk with my friend to clear my head, and I told her what was going on, and she was like, Gabby, you need to pick a new book. She doesn't know that I do YouTube. She doesn't know that this is for a video. She doesn't know that AI was picking my books. She was like, I know that you have all these rules in your head, which I mentioned earlier, and you have to pick books at random because normally that's how I do it. I have this counter on my phone that I click for a number and then I count how many books until I get that book. That's normally how I pick my books because I can't choose books to read. And she looks me dead in the eyes and she's like, I give you permission to pick a new book for your mental health. You cannot read this book right now. And I'm like, no, you're right. She like knocked some sense into me. And I'm like, this just isn't going to go well. So that is what I explained to the video, and then I got chat involved. I tried to pick a new book, and I think I did well at explaining in the clip you're about to see. If I don't, you'll see more of this beautiful nighttime open pimples face. So you're welcome. Of course, as I'm filming this portion of the video where I am not in a good mental space and things just aren't going my way today, my microphone cuts off and dies. So I'm going to fill in what happened for the rest of this video. I asked for a different read. Chat gave me The Love Hypothesis. I made sure I do not have that book. Sure enough, I didn't. And I said, that's not on my bookshelf. Can you please pick one that is on my bookshelf? The picture that I sent you, can you pick one off of that? And it gave me The Dead Romantics, another book that's technically on my TBR. I do not own it, so will not be reading that one. So I tried again. I said, do I have to re-upload the picture or can you choose a book for me? And it chose The Unhoneymooners, another book that I don't own. So I gave it one last chance. I re-uploaded a picture of my bookshelf and I said, can you please pick a book from this picture for me to read? And it picked I'll Be the One by Layla Lee. I had never heard of this book. So I looked it up on Goodreads, and it's a book about a K-pop competition. I don't know. I'd never heard of the book before. So, being in the headspace that I am and have been over the last few days, I'm going to end the video here. I am so sorry. I really wanted to read 3 books with you guys, but everything is working against me, and I talk a lot about mental health on this channel, and today you get to see it in person. You get to see how a few unfortunate circumstances stack on top of each other and really just wreck a person. Because I'm about to lay in bed for 2 days straight after this because I am so mentally exhausted. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I am so grateful for everyone who took time out of their day to read a couple books with me. I will probably never be doing this again, to be honest. I think I need to be more in control of what I read, especially when I'm not in a good mental headspace like I am right now. I keep checking like every 2 minutes just to make sure my mic is still on. Now I'm so nervous. I'm going to try to keep uploading every Tuesday, but don't be surprised if I start uploading every other week. I can feel myself already starting to burn out, and I really don't want that to happen because I do enjoy making these videos. It just has become a lot over the last couple of weeks. All in all, this video was successful for me because I read 2 books in 6 days, which is crazy. I haven't done that in months, so it was really nice to get back into reading and start love reading again. And so for me, this was a very successful video. I know that it wasn't what I promised at the beginning of the video, and I'm really sorry about that, but I did my best, and I hope you'll forgive me and stick along for the next one. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see y'all later. Bye. Love me some golden hour. I tried to go for like a if I were Rory Gilmore vibe today. Come here. You got it. Come on. Good boy.
Finally, dog.
Oh. Read the wrong name. I got very confused.